If you think watching YouTube videos is going to improve your presentation skills, stop.
I already am. Yeah, time for it. Yeah, tell me.
Possession please me as I am going to say
43 vehicles.
Can I say my Lucy to the Sogana and then I need you are going to say, I'll say why you'll be a command, every command, and 20,000. The man, and I come back. the life of what I got a command.
If it's true, party and if it's true.
I mean, say, yes, sir, at the end of the day, you know, the way we see it, there is no moral with the so how do you tell yourself?
And then some of the kind, Adam, Sika for the command plan to me, a very bad president. I don't know what I said. And I'm from the
I come on.
No more.
Then I said, man, I can't grab by a friend. Oh, yeah, but
And I thought, why is he good? And I was just good.
why?
So be sick.
What's it?
This one. Hey.
All right. Oh, my baby, yeah. If we yen Anna. Good evening, and welcome to CrossFire on Africanna Radio. We are back again. Today's Wednesday, 2017, in the year of our Lord, and of course, it's the 14th of June. Yeah. Listeners, stay tuned in as we get ready to start with our program. Tonight is Crossfire. We have interesting topics to discuss tonight, both from home and around the world. My good friend Richard is seated, and as usual, I think I'll give him the opportunity to say good evening to friends, listeners, and family, and all our loved ones around the world. I believe it's been a while since we heard from you all, or you heard from us.
Yeah.
How are you, Richard?
I'm good, sir. I'm good. As always, I'm glad to be part of the divine selection, and all I can say is give thanks and praise to God. Just a quick greetings to all our listeners, both in the UK, Ghana, and other parts of the world.
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
In other parts of the world, especially to my sisters in London, and also to my auntie in Reading. She wasn't feeling well, but she is okay now. So if you're listening to us, I want to say give a warm greeting to you all.
Great. Yes, talking about London, I think we have to give a special one to our listeners in London as well, because London has been at the receiving end of so many unfortunate incidents within the last few months.
Yeah.
This morning, we woke up to some bad news in a tower block in London, West London to be precise, and our heartfelt condolences and sympathies go to families and all the victims involved in this fire incident. I mean, it's not something that you can imagine happening to you. And they are our fellow human beings, displaced, no homes, people dead. It's just unthinkable. I don't know. For those of you who are not aware of what we are talking about, there was a fire last night, early hours of this morning, in a tower block in London. 24-story building with about 120 flats in there, and the whole building is engulfed in fire. I hope they've managed to quench the blaze, but we understand casualties. There have been casualties and some fatalities as well. We just pray that anyone who was involved in this will go through this and will be able to come out of it successfully, strong, because it's not good. It's not good. I feel sorry. I feel sad. And this is just coming off the heels of what happened in London Bridge last week, and then also in Manchester
A week before.
yeah, a week before. Yes, so today I think we are all in somber mood. Honestly, I really didn't feel like coming to the studio today. Not feeling very well, so forgive me, listeners, if I'm not coming across very loudly as you expect me. But anyway, we still have to get on. Life must go on.
Oh yeah,
We
absolutely.
just have to thank God for our lives, and thank God for the lives of those who have departed. May He keep their soul in perfect peace, and we hope that things will get better. They will look into the causes and try and fix any issues, any things that went wrong, because it looks like people have been taking things for granted for a long time, and it's about time they sit up. Anyway, I don't want us to go into the politics of that side of it, so let's get down to what is happening back home. Time is fast spent. It's around 9:30. You're still listening to us on Africanna Radio. We are broadcasting live on Facebook. Are we on Facebook?
We should be. Nice today.
And or YouTube as well. You can get us there on our YouTube channel on Africanna Radio. For those listening through the online radio portal, which is via TuneIn, you can get us on TuneIn. The Africanna Radio app is on Google Play Store and iTunes. So you can get us there. And as the program progresses, our phone lines will be ready for you to call in and contribute into the program. The studio line is 0122 3926 0122 3926 and WhatsApp line is 07473 865402 07473 865402. Yes, we just want to get straight. Usually we go around the world, but today I think for the sake of what is happening in the UK, we let it pass and then we just go straight to Ghana. Richard,
Yes, sir.
I see you have something for us tonight. Yes, let's read out a few of the issues we want to talk about. We have here the aftermath of Major Mohammed's lynching. There's a question here for us, a rhetorical one, and I believe if we can answer it, that will be fine. It says, do we miss an opportunity? Did we miss an opportunity to abolish mob justice? Did we miss an opportunity to abolish mob justice? Yes, investigations are ongoing, and we still getting stories here and there as to exactly what happened, leading to the unfortunate death of the army officer Major Mahama. So I think he's dead. His funeral has taken place, and The rest is for the law enforcement agencies to deal with it. But the underlying message or lesson that you want us to learn from here is the issue of mob justice, an opportunity to abolish mob justice. Yes. What's your view on that? Do you think that has happened?
It's anytime. I mean, for the past week or so, it's always been very tough talking about the madness, or let's should I say, you know, the death of
Yeah.
this young gentleman whose life was taken away from him by these unscrupulous guys, and sometimes it's very difficult, to talk about it. But then we have to, I mean, we must do what we can, and then talk about it. So the question that you're asking is, did we miss
Yeah.
an opportunity to abolish mob justice? Yeah, to some extent, but then I think it's early days, but it's not really too late. We can still do something about it. To me, one thing I was actually looking for, or was expecting maybe the family of the late major to have asked for, not those monumental structures that people were asking them to, the government to do in his honor.
Yeah.
Like, I think I heard some people were suggesting that we name a certain roundabout in Tema after him, and then put a structure and so on after him. To me, if I was in their shoes, the greatest memory or the greatest thing that we could have done for his memory would have been to enact a law in his name, which will sort of, I know we cannot eradicate mob action, entirely, but sort of make it unlawful for people to take the laws into their own hands, instant justice, and if Parliament, I was expecting maybe, I don't know, this is just my opinion,
Yeah.
maybe as a request, like they did here in this country. I know you remember this Nigerian kid that was killed, recently killed, Damiola or something. I can't remember his name.
Taylor.
Yeah, there was a law. They made a law in his name that will stop
Gun violence.
gun violence and so on. So I feel like we could have done something similar by having a law in his memory, like Major Muhammad law, and then once when you talk about that law,
Yeah.
I mean everybody will know what the law should mean. I know what I mean.
So what they could have done was because I think this has come up in other discussions on other platforms, but the issue is that usually I think the last time we also talked about existing laws, and the whole thing is down to enforcing our existing laws and then also strengthening them, making sure that they work. But the problem is that we sort of get caught up in this political game of blame gaming and then not taking action because someone has political influence here and there, and then
No,
but
I understand about
I'm getting there. So there is a law there, a criminal offense if you kill someone, if you assault somebody. So if we are to craft a new law, it will be a new law in the area of, say, avoiding mob justice. But then part of the criminal code could be amended to specifically state, like you're saying, I'm just saying in support of what you're saying, that to adding something that could specifically, there could be an amendment to the criminal code of 1965 and say, add something specific about mob justice, that anyone who participates, even who takes a picture, who stands there, okay, and just be a bystander and do nothing, if you are identified, you will be found culpable. So just by mere association, you will be involved. That way, it will send a signal out there, and then his name could be attached to that law,
Yeah.
and then just an amendment to the criminal code, making it covering all loopholes, specifically relating to just
Mob justice.
mob justice, and any form of mob justice at all. That will help. So I agree with you that if they could do that, it's just an amendment that they just have to pass through. But see, in our country, the problem that it's not a problem. One thing that I've noticed, these are attitudes that when something happens, we make noise about it, all right? We feel so sad about it. After 2 or 3 days, another issue comes up, and then what happened earlier on is just forgotten. And at the end of the day, I've heard people even saying, because arguing that because the president or the government gave a fund of about, is it 500,000?
Yeah, the seed money.
The seed money towards the upkeep of his family. He's been unfair. There's been some form of an unfairness to other security personnel who also died in the line of their duty, or who have suffered similar fates. And one prominent politician in Ghana is also championing for a police officer to be honored. Similar things to be done to him, because he was also shot by his fellow police officers, and all that, nothing has been done. No justice whatsoever. So when we get caught in that side of the argument, the whole essence of trying to eradicate this behavior, this attitude, this entrenched belief, that because these are beliefs that will take time. They are something that have been living with us for a long time. It will take time for people to understand that when someone, you catch a thief, you have no right to touch him. Just send him to the police authorities. And also in doing so, you also expect that the police will also do their work properly, and then come out with some form of punishment, and make it visible so that everyone will get to know that this is what has happened. This is the result of the actions that we took, and it has ended up in prosecution. People will now have confidence in the system. It's all because of lack of confidence. If you call a police officer, they will take, God knows, someone has stolen your item, or you've caught a thief red-handed in the act. I saw a WhatsApp video with a thief, what do you call it? About 5 or 6 fowls, dead fowls with him. And no one touched him. They were just standing there waiting for the police to come.
And there were some stones around him.
I mean, we always learn from our mistakes, but like you said, like you alluded to, mob justice has been with us for a very long time. And like most of the things that happen in history of the world, sometimes it takes just the occurrence of one thing for everybody to, support a cause.
Oh yes.
To put an end to it. We are not, the fact that the government, or most people were in support of the particular state barrier, and then the donation and everything that was given to this particular death doesn't mean that the others who died the same way are not very important. It's just that, like I said,
you see, this has a high profile coverage.
Exactly.
So it's an opportunity, like you said, to anything that we can do to eradicate or to sort of minimize this to the barest minimum. Okay, nip it in the bud. We should use that opportunity, because this is a high profile killing. It's received a high profile attention. And well, the flip side of it, today I also had another WhatsApp, someone making a video, an audio, lambasting the wife of Major Mahama for not crying, not showing enough remorse during the funeral of her husband. And I'm like, because she did not cry. She was wearing some sunglasses when she was reading her I didn't see it. I just listened to the audio. I didn't know what audio it was. I said, let me hear it. And he was going on and on and on, and I was like, why?
The trouble is, too many people have got opinions of everything. We know we know a lot of things, but we actually don't know anything at all. I mean, you put yourself in his shoes, empathize with.
We tend to be dwelling on some flimsy,
Exactly.
Things, instead of dealing with the actuality. So that's what it's a problem.
It is.
It's a problem.
Our attitudes must change as a nation.
You see, we also, in as much as we talk about putting in laws to stop, future occurrence of such heinous crimes, we must also. I know the police are doing their investigation. I really want us to get to the bottom of what really happened, because some of the stories that you hear about how he died does not really, add up or make sense to me. So we hope the police would come
That's
up.
exactly what I was saying, because many a times we've had our law enforcement agencies let us down big time. Look, there have been so many deaths, okay, and it saddens my heart anytime I have to go back and mention their names and then how those people died, the circumstances surrounding their deaths. Until now, we haven't had any investigations or any proper prosecutions being done. All we hear is it's like it keeps going around in circle, and like the saying goes, justice delayed is justice denied. The more you delay the matter, the more people sort of tend to forget about it. They give up, and that's it. Nothing happens. An MP was killed. Okay, this I still can't understand how someone sleeping in his room will be murdered, and up to now, we don't know who did that. We really don't know who did that. And this is a high-profile person with CCTV in his house around the areas where he lives. He lives in a posh part of the what do you call it, the town, the capital city. Muhammad Adams, another person, high-profile person, killed. So the question then, what an ordinary man will ask is, if all these high-profile people are killed, okay, murdered, and no justice till now, who am I if I die? Or if, God forbid, a relative of mine or someone closer to me is to suffer the same fate? Where am I going to get justice from? So instead of waiting for anyone, any authority to give you that justice, the societies, people want to take that justice into their own hands. This is where we get all these issues. Because if you are not punishing the offenses that we see or we hear are clear offenses, try it, let's see some trial, let's see some punishment, and it will go on and 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 on, and nothing happens. And it's not only in even criminal, like let's say capital offenses, murder and then assault and all those. It also it cuts across all other offenses, political crimes, financial crimes against the state, against individuals, and all that. Nothing is being done. You don't hear anything. All you hear every day, today someone has spent money, someone has embezzled this has gone here, this has come here. That's all you hear, names popping up all the time.
Like, truth be told,
where are we heading to?
Those two cases that you cited, they actually, people stand in trial for both of them.
Who is standing trial?
You first of all talked about the MP that was killed.
And who is standing trial for that?
Yeah, there's a suspect, two suspects actually standing trial.
You heard the Attorney General release them?
No, they have not been released.
They
were rearrested.
So when have they been put to court again?
Well, they are still doing the investigation.
Yeah.
There we go. So it is not trial.
But you see,
the case has not gone to trial.
It went to court. It went to court.
Mm-hmm.
But the Attorney General, the current Attorney General, realized that with the charges and the way they were going about it, it probably might not be the right way for them to get to the conviction that they want. So change it, which is allowed by the rules, and then come up again, do another investigation.
Mm.
Because what's going to happen is, with a new investigation, it's possible that the other people involved in the is killing that
So
could be brought to bear.
from there was a change of government on the 7th of January, yeah? 7th of January to today is the 14th of June. 5 months down the line. Very soon we'll be hitting 6 months. This guy was arrested way back last year. Investigations, and I'm telling you, I will tell you again and again that under no circumstance will I believe that there are no proper investigations done for these cases. Okay, the investigation has been done. The CID professionals, they've done their job. What is left is for the political will for those who need to prosecute to do that.
You see, Mike,
Are you trying to suggest that the initial investigation was correct? Was
Yes.
right? Well, so what makes you think that the Attorney General will file this nullity prosecutor and then to discharge them and then rearrest them?
Yeah, because in
Because
my opinion,
from what I've learned is these people who are being held right now are not the right culprits. They've been framed. That is why the Attorney General has to file this nullity prosecutor to release them, because those people are more like witnesses. So to release them and then rearrest them and then file another case or another charge
against the same people.
Well, for them to be the prosecutor's witnesses. That's what I have heard.
No, you see, if you are a prosecution witness does not get arrested, and then for what charge? Are they going to be charged for a particular crime? We've got to be clear here. Now, you arrest the guy. You say, oh, they are framed up. So if they are framed up, then they should be set up. They should be let go.
So, okay.
They've done nothing wrong.
If what I'm saying is wrong, why do you think
I still don't understand
why
what
do you
is
think they'll
happening.
be rearrested then?
But you see, Mike,
There has to be some questions for them to answer.
Mike, me right from the word go, I've always asked these questions. I know these guys, or one of them, Eric something Asido, I can't remember his first name. The first guy, the main one, confessed to the killing of the MP. But then again, we need to look at the evidence or how it happened. I don't know how far the police are, what information the police are coming.
I accept what you're saying. My question is
how
that
the guys.
I agree with you. Look, I'm still not understanding. I can't see how, in one sense, you say that they preferred either wrong charges or wrong culprits. Now, if they are wrong charges and you are arresting them again, then prefer new charges against them. What charges are you preferring against them? Is it the same murder, or is it just what do you call it, misdemeanor, or whatever it is? Let us know. If it is not, and there are other people who committed that crime, why do you still go around and say, I am arresting these people? Okay. Why don't you leave them? What have they done? So what are the timelines now?
Okay, that's a very good question. But yesterday, that is the question that the Attorney General found out that they have some questions to answer, right? So they release them, or they discharge them, and they rearrest them.
Please, you see, unless I'm ignorant here or I do not know, I haven't heard. But my point is that before you do that, I want to believe that the Attorney General would have done their investigation, because that's why I gave you the timeline. This case has been ongoing. So since they came in 5 months now, they've done their investigation. They should know the facts.
One of the reasons that the Attorney General gave as to why they were issuing the prosecutor on this one was to discharge them, do further investigation, and then they rearrested them again whilst they do further investigation.
So my question is, why did they rearrest them?
Because
they have some questions to answer.
Look, it is not fair. You see, let until the law is clear, until you find someone guilty of an offense, he is not guilty. It's
Okay.
just an allegation. So why do you trample upon their human rights if they haven't done anything?
I think I get the point that you're coming from. I get your
Unless you say you are
But-
arresting them
but
for
the
their
thing
own
is-
safety because you fear
Of
that
course.
some. No, you can't
And,
say
and,
that.
and,
That is
and,
not
and,
what they are
and
talking
then,
about.
and, then, and then they may also go out and tamper with the evidence.
Who will go out and tamper with evidence?
Those who have been held in a
No,
the-
I'm
the
not
police
saying
custody.
that. Why have they been held in custody? That's my point. Why have they been held in custody? You file a nolle prosequi and then you rearrest the guy. On what charges did they rearrest them?
Yes, I think as far as I'm
But Mike,
concerned, they're arrested.
You get the point.
You must
I get your
understand.
point.
You must understand.
On what charges do they rearrest them? It's not fair, my brother. They are innocent human beings.
You said from the beginning. Don't forget. We must also not forget that this case was started by one attorney general. They have left office. A new one has come in. They need to study the case file and then decide whether or not the people that they actually putting on trial are the ones who committed the crime. So this probably will take time.
You see,
But-
that
but
is
you see,
exactly
but-
what
but
that is
Mike,
exactly what
where I totally
makes it
where I agree
very
with you,
difficult
where
to
I agree with
sit
you,
with my
where
reasoning.
I agree with you, in our part of the world, the mere fact that you see, just because he was an MP, a very important person in society, and is killed, most people want to see something happen. So, if, for example, the Attorney General had just discharged them and said that, oh, at the moment we don't have any
Charge against them. Or
any
case
suspect
against
or
them.
whatever, due to the political reasons, some people might think that, how can you say that? Our emotions, because of most of the times we use emotions in dealing with such cases. We want somebody to pay for what happened to the MP. So whether or not at this moment, whether or not the people that we have in custody are the right, because I heard they confessed. That is what I heard. I haven't heard them say it, but
And then
officially,
they also found
they have confessed. And they found certain incriminating equipment on them. But is it good enough for us? Because don't forget, it's a murder trial. You need to prove beyond reasonable doubt that they are the ones who committed it. Or you need to connect all the dots. You understand? So, mere fact, if the Attorney General just says that, you know what, I don't have enough evidence, so let them go. You see, because...
So the point I'm making is that a nolle prosequi has been filed, so she could have amended the charges and then charged them with just aiding and abetment, but they then name the real culprits.
You see,
And then, because I am saying that
The fact that they were found some items belonging to the MP, that itself is also.
Mike,
I am telling you that.
How about let me give you a simple scenario, and then maybe this will make sense. How about maybe looking at the case file, they realize that, oh, the people that we have, I'm just saying maybe, this is not factual. The people that we have are not actually the ones who committed the crime.
Yeah.
We want to go after the real ones. But then for the time being, for people not to get emotionally charged and then start throwing accusation here and there, let's just amend the case, keep these people, buy us time while we go for the real killers. By keeping them in, the emotional aspects that would have, the whole country would have engulfed ourselves in if this had happened.
How would you feel if you were in there and being kept in there just to appease the whole nation? This is a pure utilitarian principle you are putting around.
I understand what you're saying.
They are also human beings. They have families.
You see, there is something incriminating against them, which is there. But they might not.
Then try them. Look, you see, let's not get.
I get what you're saying.
Justice is justice. They've committed a crime. They've been arrested for over a year now. So try them. You can't keep someone in detention. This must stop.
You see, listen.
It must stop.
Try
Just
them.
because you haven't found the person who committed the crime.
Do you remember, for instance, what happened against the Delta Force in Kumasi, for instance? The Delta, is it 13 or 13? Is it 13 or 8? The one that was discharged.
So are you saying that this is a political decision? They don't have the political will.
It's not political. I'm not talking about politics at all. I'm talking about how in our part of the world people get too emotional. we
see,
sometimes we let our
we-
emotion get
our
the better
job
of us.
here, you see,
We let
I
our
don't want.
emotion
That is the point.
get
Our
the
job.
better of us.
We all have emotions,
Yeah.
Richard. I get what you're saying. We all have emotions, but it's about time we start being bold and moving away from all these issues of in Ghana, you know the way people do things. Just as we are saying that we should bring a law to stop mob justice. So is it that we should also say it as it is. After all, the president said it during his inauguration. He says we should be citizens, not spectators. So the issue is that you've arrested somebody, the person has been kept in there for 1 year and a half, someone is dead, investigations has been done, the guy has been put on trial, he's supposed to go to trial, you come in and say, oh no, I'm filing a nolle prosequi, I'm no more ready to
Michael,
prosecute
Yeah, but
because I've
what-
done someone
what-
else.
in that
Because the charge,
but do you
that-
think-
that-
do you
that-
think-
in that same
Uh-huh.
vein, if the attorney general had
whatever charges that you want, charge
the
him.
attorney general had carried on, and then you go to court, you fight the case to its conclusion, and then you're unable to prove beyond reasonable doubt.
It is
that
not
the
a matter of proving beyond. If
No,
you come, you see,
are unable to prove
let me
beyond
explain
reasonable
something to you.
doubt that the person
are you telling me
you
that
have-
every person who is arrested for murder gets prosecuted and jailed? O.J. Simpson was arrested for the murder of his wife. O.J. Simpson was acquitted because there wasn't evidence.
Well,
enough
I mean,
evidence.
and then,
So
and then
the fact that
also bear it in mind, as you were saying that
Uh-huh.
some people commit every crime in the book, as you're saying, right? As you are just right saying.
Mhm.
So, do you think that these people haven't got any question to answer, and that they are being held for nothing?
I am not saying that. I am saying that whatever questions they have to answer, they've been held for too long. Put them to trial and charge them. If you think the charges, the crimes, the evidence you have is not enough for murder, go for manslaughter. If you think manslaughter is not enough, go for aiding and abetment. Then try the matter. If subsequently new information comes out and you think that, okay, we found new evidence to prove that actually you were involved at the time of the trial, this didn't come to light, you can go
So,
back. That is not double jeopardy.
Don't you think
It's possible.
Don't you think the change of government will
Uh-huh.
also have an effect of this? Delaying of prosecuting these two guys?
I am
Because
saying,
they were held it
I have a
too long
problem.
under the
let me
previous
explain
government.
something
why
to you.
should it be?
I have a problem with the procedure. We need to start learning to follow simple procedures, rules and regulations. Once we do that, okay, you will see that things will fall into places. When we start thinking that we have to get everything into place before the right thing is done, what is the probability that after getting all the people you want, doing all the investigations you want, you're going to get conviction? What is the chance? So why are you holding them? They also have human rights. They have human rights. So go ahead and charge them according to the charges or the evidence that you have.
So what
If it's
what has
enough to
happened?
secure a prosecution for conviction of any form, you've done your job. The attorney general is that you are not supposed to win every case.
So
The information that you have-
what is the role of the defense lawyers here, right now?
That the defense lawyers, because the courts are this all they are doing, they are denying them. They don't even have any defense lawyers.
Don't they?
It's the state that is providing them defense lawyers. Now, if this was an individual, listen to this. If this was an individual, now let me give you a very typical example. You remember when KKD was accused of raping this girl? He was put in there, and he fought the case all the way to the human rights courts, and they granted him bail. Now, do you think if this was because he had a private lawyer, his lawyer was the president's secretary, now what's his name? Nana Santibedi. Okay. There is money, he's a prominent lawyer, he fought the case, took it to all the places. If these guys, they don't have anyone to back them, so the state must provide them with a state attorney on the other side. And the case is something that there is political ramifications. So the state attorneys on their side, they will not go and plead. And if you go and stand in front of the judge and you don't plead, nothing will happen. So be it that if you don't provide enough evidence, the judge will acquit.
I don't think so.
Per what you just said, if what you are saying is true, wouldn't it have been easier that you're saying that those guys couldn't afford a defense lawyer, so they've been given one who I think what you're trying to say is not very good at their job.
I'm not even sure that they even have a lawyer.
Fine.
I will be honest
So
with
if,
you.
if that was
Then
if that was the case, why wouldn't they just take them to court? This would be an easy win for the states, then, wouldn't it?
Exactly.
Take them to court.
And then again,
because they have a lousy lawyer, should I say, they will be found, guilty.
No. The point is, you have a judge there. You have a judge there. The judge, look, this recent Chief Justice Doche came out and said that he hopes that the police, in investigating this matter, Major Mohammed's matter, he was given a seminar somewhere, said they will do a very good job and then investigate things thoroughly and bring all the evidence so that they can secure conviction. Otherwise, if you bring the cases to court in a rush, thinking that, oh, yeah, we saw you at the site, you were on the video, and you cannot prove anything that involves murder, you come and charge the person with murder. The judge will look at you and look at the case and tell you that, look, I've gone through the ingredients for murder. You must satisfy A, B, C, D. You haven't satisfied that. So I'm sorry, I'm acquitting him. The point is that he could be charged for maybe a lesser offense, but you didn't charge him with that offense. You rather charge him with murder or attempted murder. So the judge will have to acquit, and they will acquit him. Unless you go back and then go and rearrest him and charge him with a lesser offense. This similar thing that happened to Kennedy Agyepong. When Kennedy Agyepong was arrested, they did him treason.
Essentially, what you're saying is, in our jurisdiction, a judge can look at a case, and then regardless of how awful your lawyer is unable to defend you, can still rule in your favor.
Yes.
And then again,
they can do it. They have a responsibility to uphold the law. You see, there is no requirement in the law for you to have a defense lawyer.
Say again.
There is no requirement in the law for you to have an attorney at law. You can defend yourself.
Of course.
You can represent. You can go in and say, I don't want a lawyer. You can reject it.
Yeah. Yes.
The law will not force you to have one. So it's up to you and the judge. So if you present the cases and the judge looks at the facts of the matter, and the judge realizes that, look, what you are saying, it doesn't make sense. You are saying that the judge has a duty of care to the state and to justice to ask those questions if the person is not even asking them. So he doesn't need to say anything, but the case that you present, the judge will look at it and tell you that this is not
so what you're talking about, is it peculiar?
Otherwise, then everyone can go.
Is it peculiar to just
everywhere?
It's everywhere.
I'm telling you, it's everywhere.
Oh, so basically, you say somebody in the UK can commit a crime,
and then
have a lousy lawyer defend them, all the case, evidence and everything against the person comes to court. The judge looks at it and says that, you have all this evidence, overwhelming evidence, but then because you couldn't prove your case, I'm creating the suspect.
What do you mean you couldn't prove your case?
Yeah,
if you have the evidence, why wouldn't you prove the case?
What I'm saying is
that's not what I said. What I'm saying is that if you go in and then you don't provide enough evidence to support the case, just because the person hasn't got a lawyer, a defense lawyer, doesn't mean that the judge will convict because you have come in and say, okay, this man has committed a crime.
You do know that you can even be convicted by using circumstantial evidence. You don't need to have a physical evidence in all cases to be convicted. Each case is different.
We are not talking about circumstantial or
I'm saying you can't be convicted.
I am talking about the procedural processes of the law. What happens in court. I'm not talking about the evidence. I'm saying that if you present the matter to court, just because I do not have a lawyer and you have a lawyer doesn't mean that you have won the case. That's all I'm saying.
No. I agree with that.
If you agree with that, then let's end the matter there. Let's not go into the detail because that is why we have a judge. The judge's duty is to study the story, the case of both sides. So you present the case. In most cases, the judge will ask the culprit, do you agree to? These are the charges read against you. Do you agree to it? He says no, I don't.
I think.
Or yes,
they ask if you are
guilty or not guilty.
If
you plead guilty, then you are admitting what
has been read to you.
Let me ask this question.
But if you plead not guilty, then the judge has a duty to go through and ask you why do you think you're not guilty.
No, that's fine. Mike, let me ask you a question. In our court proceedings or the way we do it in Ghana, do we
Well,
have
there's no difference. So it's the same process. Jurisprudence in Ghana and UK is the same.
Okay. Do we
I'm
have
telling you, common law.
do we have
Yes.
trial by jury? How often do we use trial by jury? Whether trial by jury? Because what you are saying, if in the same everything, let's say you have an overwhelming case against someone, you couldn't prove it. The judge looks at all the evidence that you provided, and then in the judge's opinion, they don't add up. So you haven't proved it well enough. But then, if it's trial by jury, the judge has no say. He won't go through the evidence. It's the jury who will determine at the end of the day whether the judge feels that your case was weak or strong. It's relevant here.
And what makes you think that? What makes you think that the jury, well, the jury is not made up of one person? What makes you think that the jury will just sit there and then side with the prosecuting lawyer and not look into the case presented or the evidence presented by the prosecuting lawyer and say that actually what he's saying? They sit down, they deliberate, and you will see some of the jury members saying that no. What this guy is saying, if he's saying that he was here at this time, how come this happened? How come his phone rang at this time? How come he? So the evidence that you have provided, when they look at the investigation, that is the reason why they go through the information. Otherwise, all they will say is that, oh, you brought the case. Where's your lawyer? You don't have a lawyer. Oh, that's it. We don't need to waste time. You won the case, but you still have to prove your case, and the jury will have to go through it.
But Mike, the question I ask you is this: the things that if a trial is done by not using a jury, a judge looking at the evidence will know and start ticking that.
No, but the jury is guided. Hang on a second. Don't think that the jury are just lay people who they give them. The judge will give them a summary of the law to apply. Okay, they read the law out. The person they call him, I've forgotten the name. Is someone court?
Court usher, not a court.
Yeah, court usher or marshal, or there's a name there.
It's usher. Court usher.
He reads out the rules, the laws under which that the jury should study the case, and then the jury goes in and deliberate on the matter, and then they come out and say, okay, so
deliberate on the matter based on the
evidence provided.
Yes.
So if you provide good evidence to support every angle of your investigation, and they look at it and it makes sense to them, they will convict.
Yeah, so
if it doesn't, trust me, even without the guy uttering a word, they will not convict him.
When you have a confession,
I'm not talking about confession. Look, you can have a confession, and if it turns out that that confession was acquired through coercion or anything, if he says that I have been beaten, all that I said there is not true, I have been beaten, so they have a duty to analyze that and to find out how you got the confession. They will not, because they have a look. Imagine they are going the penalty for that conviction is death, and you are a member of the jury or you are the judge, and you say this guy hasn't got
that actually, you see what you just said reminds me of one of my favorite all-time movies. I don't know if you guys have watched it before. 12 Angry Men. If you haven't watched it,
I'll watch it.
There are two versions. 12 Angry Men. 1957 one and the 97 one.
Okay.
How one jury could turn.
Who wrote it?
No, it's a movie. I can't remember movie. 1957.
That's right.
An obvious a case that should have gone against the accuser. How one jury member was able to convince.
It happens all the time.
No, so I get you. Yeah.
You see, it happens all the time.
I get the point.
But you see, the whole thing is we need to follow rules and regulations.
Can I take you back to these Ghana's jurisprudence and the Western world, the UK here?
Yeah.
You did say that they're all the same, did you?
Yeah.
How about these customs and custom laws that is also applicable in our
So when you say custom law, what custom law are you talking
because
about?
As far as I'm concerned, if you finish your law school here, you cannot just go to Ghana and practice as a lawyer. You have to do our custom laws over there.
It's not custom law.
What is it then?
It is the Ghanaian law as we have it.
Right.
But when I say they are the same, when I say they are the same, I mean we derive our conventions, the procedures, the court processes in terms of the common law that we practice over here in UK, it's the same common law principle that is applied in Ghana. So the court procedures, the rules of engagement, the laws that are applicable, most of our criminal jurisprudence, they emanated from the UK. And that's what we have there. We have incorporated some other things, like we have the interstate succession law. So the PNDC law 111 deals with people who die without wills. And then because they don't have a will, the state must step in to apportion the families, the deceased estates, the deceased estate to the wife, because our customs tend to discriminate against the widow and the children. So that is something that is new. It's not here in UK.
That is part
so
of
that is part of it.
Custom law.
That could be part of the custom law. So when you go to Ghana, you need to go and do the Ghana law. Like you come to the UK, you have to come and see the UK bar. You go to Ghana, you go and see the Ghana bar, which will incorporate all these other laws that are not peculiar to the UK. But the main framework, the legal framework, is based on the English jurisprudence. Yes, that's what I mean by it's the same thing we have over there. Let's move on to listeners. You are still locked into Crossfire. This is Africanna Radio. We are on our discussion, and the next item to talk about here, what is it? Let me have a look here. Okay. Will the Supreme Court's ruling giving Auditor General powers of disallowance and surcharge finally bring an end to institutional corruption, or will it be business as usual? When did this ruling come out? Today. And what was the ruling? Tell me.
Oh, essentially, Occupy Ghana went to court or Supreme Court about there is this provision on that in our constitution.
Yeah, to surcharge.
Article 187.
187.
Yeah. Clause 7, and then B, we talks about disallowance and then surcharge.
Okay.
When you look at some of these public hearings on the Public Accounts Committee,
when they go there, then they go and cry,
and then nothing happens. The constitution, in the constitution, it says the Auditor General can do disallowance and then surcharge people that but then that aspect of it was not enforced by the Auditor General in the past. So basically, this ruling is giving the Auditor General the things that he needs to bite in terms of retrieving our money and all that.
So let me explain this here. Let me get some explanation here clearly. What you are trying to say here is that the Auditor General has the powers already enshrined in our constitution. The Auditor General, prior to this ruling, could have gone to court to seek to surcharge people who embezzle funds or to recover these funds. In fact, the law states that, if my memory serves me right, that when the Auditor General realizes, after having done their audit, and they find out that some appropriation has gone wrong, what they do is that they send you to court and surcharge you. And if you have a problem with that, you come to court and defend yourself. Okay? So even before you even say Jack, you are already in court. If you want to challenge that, they write a letter to you surcharging you of their money to recover.
Like, I think it would be easier. Let's just read the provision of the Constitution that.
The reason why I'm saying that it is there already.
It is.
But yet the Auditor General never enforced it.
I know. For the sake of our listeners, let's just read it. It's not long, really. We can.
So why did Occupy Ghana go to court?
Yeah. So we can just read the duties of the Auditor General in Article 187. You can read that quickly.
I get you. Before I read it, the Auditor General went to court.
No.
The Occupy Ghana went to court to
get the Auditor General
to do his work.
Yeah, more or less.
And yet we pay the Auditor General.
Of course.
And someone has to take him to court to say that this is your job description. This is part of your job. You have to do this. You see the kind of people we have in this country.
I understand. You see, the problem, you know, the problem sometimes, Mike.
Now,
people interpret
I want us to move.
People interpret the constitution in a way that suits them. Yeah, they interpret the constitution in a way that suits them.
It is not about interpreting the constitution in a way that suits them.
It wasn't as
it is about a level of ineptitude and indiscipline among our political elite. Not just the political elite, among the elite in Ghana, educated, highly educated people. The elite, that's what they are so lousy, they don't care. All they think about is when this is what is going on in the country. So you know your duties, you know what you have to do, you know clearly that this is what the guy has done. You've audited the accounts, you've seen clear violations, clear irregularities, you know who is responsible. You write to the guy and say, okay, per the audit accounts that we conducted, you have misappropriated A, B, C, D under your watch. Whether you did it or not, we need an explanation. Your explanation you wrote to us, they first allow you to write an explanation first during the audit process. The explanation you have is not enough. And for that reason, we are surcharging you, or I am surcharging you as Auditor General under article, what is the article? 187 clause 7 B of the 1992 Constitution. So if you have any recourse to challenge that, you know where to go. Go to the High Court. Okay? This is all you have to do. And if he doesn't do that, you, the Auditor General, have the power to put what we call garnishee on his personal salary accounts. And that's very simple. Just a paper, do your job. In this country, master, bailiffs will write you a letter, and you'll be sitting in your house and you'll be, I bet you, shaking. Just a simple letter, you'll be shaking.
Yeah, but this is what I don't understand.
And it has to take you, someone has to drag you, the Auditor General, to court to do your job.
No, but,
I remember, I'm very interested in this case.
Mike, truth be told, I must say that I've been so far impressed with the new Auditor General that we have.
What has he done?
Remember, the case was, he wasn't the one in charge when the case was first taken to court. It was under the old regime, the old Auditor General.
Yes.
He actually welcomed the ruling. So it's more or less giving him like I said from the beginning, it's giving him the ammunition or the powers that he needs to go ahead and do what was actually stated in the Constitution. But like I said, because it's never been applied before. And we seem to always try to interpret the Constitution in a way that suits us. It had to be tested at the Supreme Court. And once the ruling has come out, the Auditor General now knows that if anyone misappropriates our funds, this is what you need to do. That provision of the Constitution needs to be enforced by you. You see, and you need to take steps in retrieving the money.
I agree with you. So when he came in, when he was happy, he's a new guy, he's a new Auditor General. He was still appointed by the former president.
Oh yeah, of course. And I remember
so all he should have done was
we made a lot of noise. We made a lot of noise.
Yes.
But this guy is
all he should have done was that. All he should have done was that cases that were pending then, because 2015 audit, they are now auditing, going through the 2015 accounts. So all those ones, he should have surcharged them. It's under his watch now. He should have written.
Mike, I tell you what, let's just read the Constitution.
No, it's the same thing.
No,
I don't know what it is.
It will make a lot of sense, yeah, because there are a few other things. We need to start from the 187 itself, not just jump to number 7, because some of them I don't really understand.
What is it that you don't understand, my brother?
You see, because of why we waste our time for the public sitting, and at the end of the day, nothing happens. I've always wondered why every year the same process is recycled. We come out with a whole lot of allegations, corruption, with evidence and all that. There's a public hearing, people go there, do all sorts of things, and that's the end. You hear about these cases. Nothing seems to be done about them. Now I always ask myself, what's the point in wasting money?
The point is that those MPs sitting on that committee, they make what they call their sitting allowance.
So this is what I wanted you to read the
right.
There is a provision there
whereby
the MPs, they need to be a sitting for that. So if you read the whole 87,
it says no taxation shall be imposed otherwise than by or under the authority of. I'm reading something else.
no, read the whole 87.
187.
187. 187.
Yes, it keeps going back to 174. So there shall be an Auditor General of Ghana whose office shall be a public office. That's 1. 2. The public accounts of Ghana and of all public offices, including the courts, the central and local government administrations of the universities and public institutions of like nature, of any public corporation or other body or organization established by an act of parliament, shall be audited and reported on by the Auditor General.
Yeah.
3. For the purposes of Clause 2 of this article, the Auditor General or any persons authorized or appointed for the purpose by the Auditor General shall have access to all books, records, returns, and other documents relating or relevant to those accounts. The public accounts of Ghana and of all other persons or authorities referred to in Clause 2 of this article shall be kept in such form as the Auditor General shall approve. 5. The Auditor General shall, within 6 months after the end of the immediately preceding financial year to which each of the accounts mentioned in Clause 2 of this article relates, submit its report to Parliament.
So now you get
And shall in that report draw attention to any irregularities in the accounts audited and to any other matter which in his opinion ought to be brought to the notice of Parliament. That's Clause 5.
Yeah.
Clause 6. Parliament shall debate the report of the Auditor General and appoint, where necessary, in the public interest, a committee to deal with any matters arising from it. That's the Public Accounts Committee. Okay. Clause 7. In the performance of his functions under this Constitution or any other law, the Auditor General shall not be subject to the direction or control of any other person or authority. Take notes. That's Clause 7A.
Yeah.
B. May disallow any item of expenditure which is contrary to law or surcharge. That's Clause 2B. 7. I. The amount of any expenditure disallowed upon the person responsible for incurring or authorizing the expenditure, or to any sum which has not been duly brought into account upon the person by whom the sum ought to have been brought into account. Or 3, the amount of any loss or deficiency upon any persons by whose negligence or misconduct the loss or deficiency has been incurred. Paragraph 8A of Clause 7. Now, 8. Paragraph A of Clause 7 of this article shall not preclude.
No, I think we've done it.
No. Hold on.
You want to read the whole?
Yeah.
All right.
He says, shall not preclude the President acting in accordance with the advice of the Council of States from requesting the Auditor General in the public to audit at any particular time the accounts of any such body or organization as is referred to in Clause 2. A person aggrieved by a disallowance or surcharge made by the auditor may appeal to the High Court. This is exactly what I told you earlier on. The rules of court committee may, by constitutional instruments, make rules of court for the purposes of Clause 9 of this article. It means the normal court procedures will follow. The salary and allowances payable to the Auditor General shall be a charge on the consolidated fund. Okay, so clearly there is no contradiction.
No, you see, relevant provision.
I'm telling you that.
7. Yeah.
Wait,
relevant.
You are worried about. You're worried. The reason why you forced me to read this was because of the fact that Parliament is mentioned over there. But Parliament's mention is irrelevant to Clause 7A and Clause 7B, the surcharges over there. Parliament has nothing to do with that. He says the Auditor General is under no one can control him, not even the President. The only thing the President can do is to ask him to audit a particular organization. That is all.
So you see, this is what I don't understand about Constitution. You see, in one brief, you're talking about the Auditor General will do his work and then present his finding to Parliament, and Parliament will set up a committee if needed to deliberate on his finding. But then the Auditor General can still per Clause 7 that Clause 7.
Hold on. Do you know what that means? You see, do you know what that means? Do you know why they say it should go to Parliament? The
Well,
problem, the problem we have in Ghana, yeah.
to make it public, is that?
No,
Okay.
not to make it public. The problem we have in this country of ours is that I always say that Brofo, Ubruni Kasa, is language. So when we read all these things, we are not able to reconcile why, if you want me to do that, why are you telling me that I should take it to Parliament? Parliament exists as a different entity, separate entity per the separation of powers function. Okay? The Auditor General is a body established by government. Okay? Even though the person appointed to be the Auditor General is independent, his office is independent, he's part of the executive. But his role, he has some level of independence to his role to make his job function properly. But even with that, because of that level of independence that has been given to him by the Constitution, the Constitution is worried that if we give this man so much power, he will end up doing what without any oversight responsibility. He will end up doing things for himself and come to company A and say, oh, come on, don't worry, I won't surcharge you. This is what they've been doing. And that is the reason why he has to submit his report to Parliament. Okay, so it's like a check and balance on him, the Auditor General. And when he goes to Parliament, Parliament will scrutinize the work of the Auditor General to make sure that actually it is not Parliament's job to be calling those people to come and sit in front of them and then interrogating them. No, it is not their job. They don't know what they are doing there. Their job is to go through the work that the Auditor General has done. And if they have any problems, they call the Auditor General and say, look, here you say this man has embezzled this. What have you done about it? You wrote to him and he wrote back to you. So why don't you surcharge him according to Article 187 Clause 7? But you rather write to us telling us, so what, you haven't done your job. That is what Parliament should be doing. They rather go and sit there and then create fanfare, trying to call everyone to come and sit in front of them.
I think I get your
This
point.
is their problem.
I get you.
So now you see how I'm annoyed with these people. They sit there calling themselves intellectual and this and that.
You've made a perfect submission about
this. Doesn't have to go to court.
Yeah.
You get a point. Their job is not to call people to come and sit there and ask them questions. That is not their job.
We must not forget this. You see, that B that we read, which is of interest and which was taken to court.
Which B?
The B, 7B, the clause 7B.
What did it say?
BI. So in the functions of the Auditor General. So it says may disallow any items of expenditure which is contrary to law and surcharge.
Good.
You see, contrary to law. So this is where I think the problem was.
What
contrary to
what
law.
He said? So what did they contest in court? What law?
No,
it is not about law. You are the Minister of Finance, okay? Per the Ministry of Finance books, yeah. You are supposed to do what? You budgeted to buy cars, 20 cars. You have bought 30 cars. You had money and you budgeted. The part of the budget was to use this money to fund a project in Agyepong rice factory. It's stated in your budget estimates. Instead of funding that project, you do not fund the rice project. You rather go and buy luxury cars. Okay? And then you sit in it in Accra when the project is not done. Where is the money for Agyepong? We can't find that. You've used the money to buy a car. So I go through the audit the books and I realize that no, this is not right.
Buy
20. You bought 30. Why did you buy 30? You didn't budget for that. If you wanted 30, you should have gone back to whoever gave you the money or make what they call appropriation budget, supplementary budget together. You didn't do that. Okay, so it is very clear. That is the law they are talking about.
So this is, I totally understand what you're saying. So this is where that check and balance that you talked about.
The check and balance, that is their job.
The Parliament's committee, committee, this committee, so now it won't become useless anymore because what I expect them to do in the next sitting is when the Auditor General brings his report, it's like you said, oh, you pointed this out. This person violated the law. He budgeted for so amount of money, and then he went over. So those that he's gone over, he needs to be disallowed. You have to disallow that, and then you say charge him.
That's
So
it.
why haven't you done it?
So if
This
he's
is
not
how we
doing
need
that,
to-
then that
That's
is
what I'm
where
saying. So
the
this is where
the parliament
this is
job.
where that ruling, like I said from
What
the
did the
beginning,
ruling say?
ruling says
Uh-huh.
there isn't any other interpretation.
It is so clear.
Right.
This is my problem. It's
I know. You see?
Obi binim person be accept. Yes, omo nti o, omo ti ase. But abro any bedie nti no, any sikedie katahwehwe ne proye nti no, on pese obeti ase.
Yeah.
And yes, one ti ase. Parliament won omo nyini nyina, but you know what they do? Do you know why people have the temerity, the nerves, the effrontery, the power? I don't know. To
The
go and sit
audacity.
the audacity, thank you. To go and sit in front of these people,
Yeah.
and then start saying that, oh
Smile,
yeah, I know, but it's a human mistake. To err is human. I'm sorry, it was a mistake. It won't happen. Do you know why they are able to do that?
Yeah.
Because they know the parliament can do them focal. When you read this, a lay person understands this. Me, I'm not a lawyer.
Yeah.
I just read it and understand what it means clearly.
You know, to me,
So when I come to sit in front of Public Accounts Committee, I look at them. All I don't need to do is that I don't have to insult them because they have that power of contempt, that animal contempt. They can use it against me. But if I don't insult them and oh yeah, well you know, I'm sorry, to err is human, it won't happen again. I'm off. You can't do nothing. They will go about it. So I think they are disgracing you. But this kind of you. The person they should be questioning is the Auditor General. Asking him to come and explain that because this is technical language. Most of them sitting there have no folk accounting or finance knowledge. They go through it, they don't understand. So when you call someone to come and sit down, the person will come with his lawyer because the lawyer knows that you people sitting there have no power under the law to do anything.
And Mike, and it's like this.
And it's been going on over the years. And we have professors in Ghana.
As the popular saying goes, if you are pretending to be dead and you're alive,
Uh-huh.
now the Auditor General was pretending.
Uh-huh.
I'm not restricting it to this particular one, but then the Auditor General that we've had, they were pretending not to understand that particular clause in our constitution. Now the Supreme Court has pointed out to them that yes, my friend, it is in the constitution. You read it, you understood it. I read it, I understood
Now,
it.
you see,
The way it was meant to be.
My
So you
question
need
is,
to enforce it.
the
Simple.
problem is not with the auditor. Just watch it. The Auditor General, I'm telling you, that we will not enforce this law.
Oh,
Listen to me, because you see, do you remember Doa Jaho, the former speaker? He violated some laws in Ghana.
Yeah.
I said it over here that the constitution has been done in such a way that what is the punishment
Exactly. There's
for
no
the Auditor General? Not if he does not do his job. What does he face? That is the thing. Dereliction of duty.
Yeah.
Okay? His position, his tenure is secure.
Yeah.
So the president can take him away only when he doesn't do his job.
Yeah.
So this is where you will expect that Parliament, that is why the Constitution gave Parliament that oversight committee. And this is the reason why I have been saying that our Constitution is structurally deficient.
Of course.
We don't need any MP to be a minister.
And I totally agree with you. And I feel like this is like a victory for all of us because going forward, knowing what we know now, if by this time next year they have the Public Account Committee sitting, and then all of these comes up, and then the committee does not ask the question that we are asking here now, then we have every right to.
I am hoping. You see, I am hoping. I know some of them are listening to us. I am hoping that they will stop inviting ordinary people to this Public Account Committee to ridicule them. It makes no sense whatsoever. Their job is to go through the Auditor General's report. And when they go through the Auditor General's report and they have any problem, they call the Auditor General to come and explain. They don't call the person who has been audited to come and explain because they did not audit him. Do you get the point? They are not a court.
Yeah.
So I can refuse to appear before that Auditor General's report and you can't do nothing. Nothing. Foko. All you say is a contempt. We call you to come and you didn't come. But clearly, there is nothing you can do under the law, per the laws that we've just read. The man must surcharge, or the woman must surcharge. If he doesn't surcharge, you go back to that person and say, hey, this is the process I'm talking about. You've given us this audit report. You're supposed to surcharge this guy. You've stated clearly that he's embezzled funds, he's used the funds, misappropriated them, or he's whatever it is. So you have to disallow. Have you done that? Yes, I have. Has he paid? No. Is he challenging it? Yes or no. That is what you need to be looking at. They don't need to be wasting time going through ridiculing people in public for all these things when nothing happens out of it. They lose respect when they do that, because I have no respect for them. That is the problem. But they've been doing it over the years and nothing is happening. They call people in there, they sit, talk about it, nothing happens. So I ask myself, what are these people doing? Do they really understand what they are doing? That they sit there, talk about monies, question people as if they have some power or authority, and nothing happens? And then the people just walk away with the money they've spent, and that is all? Do you get a point?
Yeah.
But if they really focus on that auditor general, that you do your job. If you don't do your job, we are going to write to the president and recommend that he initiates proceedings to kick you out of your office. He will do his job, because it means there is a reason to remove him, because he has the position of a high court judge. The auditor general, I think the accountant general, I believe, the high court and the Supreme Court judges, not civil servants.
Not civil servants. I mean,
the head of the civil service, and then there is this your friend Charlotte Osei's position, and then the Shrag and all those. They all have that tenure, fixed tenure of office that you can't touch. The only way you can remove them is to go through the process of removing a high court judge. So, like these judges who went and did some funny 419 business that Anas got them. If something of that nature, you can initiate proceedings to remove the Auditor General. And Parliament has the power to do that, based on the report that will come that this guy is not doing his job. But they sit there, rather they want to call the ordinary person and intimidate him that, hey, I'm going to the dreaded Public Account Committee. Dreaded for nothing. They don't buy. They have nothing.
You see, what I don't understand is, you see, all these names that you mentioned under the article, 71 holders. Why we couldn't simply put the IGP there as well?
IGP?
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's the enforcer.
That's what I'm saying. We could put the IGP there to give, let's say, protection of the tenure of office. And then the same way that we what we read about the Auditor General doesn't.
I was told, someone told me that the 1992 Constitution was actually drafted for Rawlings at the time.
Yeah.
So he needed all these people to ensure his his safety, perpetuity, and all that. So if you were to make all these people independent, Rawlings wanted them to do something, and they ended up saying, yeah, you can't take me out, I'm not doing it. What do you do and all that? Okay, this is exactly what Donald Trump is facing in America now. Okay, now, for me, I'm not too much bothered whether the IGP is permanent. I think it's even easier, because I still maintain that, look, at the end of the day, someone must have powers. Someone must appoint somebody. And the last appointing authority is the president. He is the person we vest all the powers that we have into. That one person called president. So once he has that power to do that, I do expect that he will exercise that power judiciously. He will exercise it in a very responsible way. He will exercise it for the benefit of everyone in the society. So if he sees that something is going wrong and the IGP that he has is not doing the job, it's just a matter of telling the IGP that, Mr. IGP, if you think you cannot do this job, please tender your resignation. I have given you specific instructions. This lawlessness, I hate it. You have your men there. What is preventing you from doing the job? Do you need more people? Look, recently I've heard so many transfers. Since he came, all we see is transfer, 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 transfer. That's all we hear. Moving people here and they're trying to claim that he's doing that. They are doing nothing. The same thing continues. Do you get the point? Look, when I come in as Master Krum had here doing, a new boss about new king, new law. On you will feel who once a sound, but boss in me, do as I tell you. Do you want to do it? You do it. If you don't want to do it,
you know where the door is.
You know where the door is. Where you into the Tinawakra, Tinawakumase, Tina wherever you are. Okay? What is the point in transferring the guy? What has he done? First of all, do you get the point?
Yeah.
So if you are using transfer as a punishment, what did he do that you are trying to punish him? Is transfer there enough? Are you saying that when he goes to that place, he won't do the same thing there? Does that take away the offense that is committed or the crime that is committed? So what I say, you don't understand. You don't, I still don't get it. I'm trying to figure out why do we do things like that? Just look at the person's face and tell him, say, Massa, the way I know, me and me buy and me appointed, but me and me say disappointed. I've taken you out. That is why I like the Agyepong. Seriously, that is why I like it, because he is someone who sees you, what he will tell you in the face that what you are saying is rubbish. Whether you are his friend, his brother, his sister, or whatever, he will just tell you. That is why I like him. It's not because of anything. We need people who will say things as they are, who will be bold enough to look up to authority and speak truth to them. Yeah. Because they don't like this, our people, I don't know, we have this notion of, oh, me pesa me kasanya sa ebi a Jamaica no enye ne de na afi abeka se me muadie na say na sa. That is not what we are talking. You are doing your job. So when you say idea what can you
we tend to both liquors more than anything else.
Oh,
you know, pleasing the master.
This is exactly what it's letting the nation down. And when it goes on, it perpetuates for a long time. People lose confidence in the system. And when that confidence is lost, that is where you have lawlessness creeping in. And this has gone on for so long, so everyone is like a law to himself in the country. If you are strong, powerful, you have the money, you have the political connections to save you, then you are okay. If you don't have that, you struggle and struggle and struggle and struggle. You will be lynched, you will be killed, and no one will give you 500,000. But if you have the political, yes, Mahama is not. He's the nephew of the former president. Okay, he's the nephew of the former president. Yet the sitting government gave him 500,000 to the family, and the former president was also there. Here we are. Would that happen to an ordinary soldier? No. Yeah. So this sad. We live in a society where we don't seem to appreciate these basic things are. Over here in the Western world, they've gone beyond this stage. They have gone through this period before. But what is working for them is that they don't waste time. If you look, Theresa May lost elections. I didn't get a chance to talk about it so much, to ridicule her.
She didn't lose.
Oh, God. I told you she will lose. I told you she will lose. Why she lost? Didn't see her on Tuesday. The way she was so dejected, so bacab. I said, be a friend. So, you know, I said, they're coming to ridicule the if the coalition of chaos cannot form the government, Labour is ready to form a stimulus strong government. We say, that's never.
Your man all of a sudden has come to life, huh? Jericho.
But I told you, Master, I told you, this 80% of Labour MPs who went around making blah, he is not a leader, he hasn't got leadership skills. Now, who is to blame? They think that staying in opposition is what they want. Now let them enjoy opposition with an increased majority. If they had rallied behind this man and supported him from day one with all these policies, by now his ideas would have sunk in since he came on board. So people would have known what he could do. And look at what he did during the campaign. Imagine all these people. What's his name? Hilary Ben, Chukwumuna, this Tottenham MP, Angela Eagle and Maria Eagle, all of them, the shadow former Yvette Cooper, all of them involved, fighting, supporting Jeremy Corbyn. Okay? I say, look, this is the leader we have. Let's support him. Labour would have won Scotland straight away. I can't believe that Scotland Conservatives got more seats than Labour.
Yeah.
How?
Well, the last 2 elections, that's how it's been.
No.
Yeah,
last 2 elections,
last
no.
2 elections, this one and then the one
No,
before.
last 2 elections, Conservative had 1, Labour had 1, and the Scottish SNP had 54. This time, Labour had how many? Just about 4 or 5, 6.
Oh yeah, Labour had 6, yeah.
And Conservative had 10.
Yeah.
How? So imagine that 10 plus 6, that would have been 16. Labour would have gone up to 272. Okay? 272. That will reduce Conservative to, they had 318 minus 10. So that will go down to 308.
Yeah.
And with the support of, what do you call it? All the Labour MPs who did not want to, even my MP in this area, here, Bedford.
And he won.
He won. I'm surprised. No single leaflet came through my door until 2 days before the election. All right. And guess what? On that leaflet, there was no Jeremy Corbyn's name on it. There was no anything to do with Jeremy Corbyn. Rather, the Conservative candidate's leaflet, MP's leaflet, he had Jeremy Corbyn's name 3 times in there, saying that Jeremy Corbyn could win if people don't come out and vote. Do you see the whole thing? I'm like, what is this? So if they had really positively campaigned, all of them would have taken seats from the Conservatives. They would have taken a lot of seats.
They still
and by now Labour will be in power, because if Labour, look, if Labour had 272, add Scottish is what, 30 what, 5. That will give you 307. Okay? Leave them. How many have they got? 14 or 12. That's 9. That's 1. That's 319. DUP is going to support Conservative. That's 10. That's 318. So clearly, Labour could have formed a progressive government if Labour had picked up all the Conservative seats in Scotland. That is something that they need to investigate, because Scotland has never voted Conservative this way before. Something is wrong. I believe I appreciate that they have a candidate over there, that Davidson, Ruth Davis. She's a very strong candidate. She's a very dynamic leader. But
who is the Labour leader in Scotland?
I'm not too sure who that person is. I'm not too sure. It used to be one Jim Murphy, but he's no more. Someone else. But I'm not too sure who that person is. I am telling you, if Labour had taken Scotland from the Conservatives, they would have been in government. But it would have emboldened them by now. Look at the way Theresa May is suffering to form a government. And I don't think a government will survive.
I can see another election.
We were going to have one very soon, my brother. And so now you see all the Labour MPs are rallied behind.
Yeah.
All of them is like, hey, Jeremy Corbyn is having.
No, but you see, you remember, Mike, you remember when that snap election was called? I said here at the studio that is either she's a genius or she's making the biggest mistake. And I think, don't forget, there are a lot of people that this time around came out to vote. They came out to vote because of some of them, I believe, felt that Theresa May was being arrogant, thinking that they just walk in the park. because of a so-called division in the Labour Party.
The other thing that let
she
her
was-
down big time was the debate that she didn't attend. That debate let a lot of people down, but people really want to hear what she was going to say. Now, if she had, it was a double knife. Is it what you call it? Double-edged
knife, yeah.
knife or double-edged sword? Because if she had attended, she would have been ripped apart. And she didn't attend to that. Sent a signal to the whole country that she's weak, she's not strong, she's scared.
And then to send your home office.
Home office.
To me, it's
Not
that you
good
don't
enough.
attend. If you don't want to attend, don't attend. Remember, I
Yeah.
said it here. Don't just send somebody there and then expect.
So that's what happened.
But don't forget too, Mike.
Mm.
It wasn't just a debate. The manifesto that Labour put together was far
yeah.
better. It gave hope, and you know,
It's not
the
just
youth,
young, my
the
brother.
youth, and
There was something in
they
that.
always look out for some.
When I tell you,
youth
you see
to-
the reason why I told you Trump will win. You people were like, Trump came and said, "I'll make America great again." This is exactly Trump campaign that this guy ran, but he didn't run it
no.
with
Mike,
Trump
Mike,
style.
You
It's
you
the
were, you were
same
very, you're very consistent with Trump
Yeah.
until the day before the election. It's like you put more money, you were winning. Everybody knew you were winning.
no,
You
never.
You put your money, a small money, and then you have a very massive odd. And then a day before election, you have a stand. You've been very consistent. And a day
No,
before election,
the
you come
reason
in,
why
you
I'll
come in
tell
and then
you.
you go. You come in and then you go. Oh, you know what? I was only kidding. That wasn't really serious. There's no way Trump is gonna win. Blah, blah.
No, I was deep in my heart. I wanted Hillary Clinton to win, not because of anything, but because of the fact that she is a woman.
Yeah.
So I had that passion for her to win the election, to liberate women in America. Barack Obama has liberated black folks in America, but
Are you
in
sure
terms
about
of
that?
no, I'm not. It's just symbolic.
Oh, okay.
I'm looking at the symbolic side of it, not. I mean, the in terms of actual liberation. As for that, it's the struggle still continues. But I'm looking at the symbolic aspect, the what he brought to, the confidence. Look, believe it or not, it gave a lot of people that hope. A lot of young folks, a lot of young black kids who are looking for someone to aspire to, because that is what happens when you don't have role models in society. When you're growing up and you don't have a lot of people to look up to and say, "Oh, this guy has done it, I can do it." In the current climate, it's very difficult.
Yeah.
You would think, "There's no hope. I can't get anywhere." But when you sit back and you say, "Oh, someone who is more or less similar to me has become president of the most powerful nation on earth," then if I want to be the head of department for this section, I think I can do that. You get it? So that inspiration comes with it. It's the same way that I was hoping. Okay, but my hopes were just I couldn't. What Trump was doing was taking over. That eventually I had to declare for Hillary Clinton. That as soon as that I'm hoping that Hillary Clinton will win, but I knew in my heart that Trump will win. Actually, you know what? I said it here about at my work. I told everyone that Trump will win. Yeah, I told, so they still hold me that, "Michael, this is your guy." They will come to me and say, "Oh, Michael, you said this guy was going to win." I say, "Yeah."
Yeah.
They keep telling me
I should have played them the tape where you changed
No.
your mind. Yeah.
They keep telling me. I just because it's about that woman side of it. I want women to have that opportunity. Women are marginalized still in society. There's a lot of oppression against them everywhere you go. Even in this country, in spite of all the laws that
We have the number one lady being a woman.
Well, tell me, I'm writing an essay somewhere. Tell me how many women members are in parliament? 208. This is the highest so far out of 650. Yeah. And yet 50% of the population, over 50% of UK population are women. So is that fair representation?
Yeah, but out of that 208 that you're talking about, one of them is the head. the first amongst equal. She's one.
No, so what difference does it make?
Well, you talk from them having a lower number in parliament.
Look at that. Look at her.
Representative.
Look at her dejection. She has no power. She just has what do you call it? She has the position, but there's no authority.
She ain't a lame that president.
She is more. No, we
not.
don't use that term here. This is parliamentary system. She has no authority.
Yeah.
Look at the people she's brought back. Has she brought any woman to the cabinet? Tell me. When she won, did she bring any woman to the cabinet?
Like somebody new.
New.
Yeah, okay.
Who? But rather she's bringing men. Yeah. Michael Gove, someone else. And she rather sacked, she was forced to sack her two most trusted advisors.
Sack them or they resign.
That is euphemism for being sacked.
Mike,
why would they resign?
Those advisors, I believe, if it's actually true that they were the one who advised her to go for the snap election, then they deserve to be sacked. Because
no, what do you mean they advised her? The ultimate decision is hers.
I know.
Okay, but it is just an advice.
This is why I said if what we are told is true, that they were the ones who advised her.
But she took the advice. They didn't put a gun to her head to accept the advice. She took it and she acted upon it.
They totally
knowing very well that my argument was that whatever you want to do, there is always two sides to every situation. So you thinking that you want a majority, consider the other side. That what if the country does not give me a majority? And what happens? Even if I win and they give me a minority, how am I going to function? Do you have a plan B? That is something that she did not think through properly. If she had thought through that, I believe she wouldn't have called the election.
As to the time that she was calling for the snap election, Labour seems to be in disarray. So she thought this is just a quick.
So that was. So it means that the reason why she called was not what she came out to tell the whole nation, and she was caught out.
I'm sure that's the reason why a lot of people went out this time around to vote against.
Now, do you know that? I think these progressive parties, if they really want to come to power, these liberal Democrats, you know, the guy has resigned by the way.
He's resigned, yeah.
And then the Greens, and then all them in England alone. Forget about Scotland. If this election was so close that places where Lib Dems were there, if you add the Lib Dem votes to Labour votes and the Green vote, okay, and you add the UKIP votes to the Conservative votes, where Conservatives won, there were so many marginal seats that if all the progressive parties had come together and said that, okay, look, all of you go and give my vote to Labour because Labour is likely to win. In Bedford, it was a similar thing, the same thing in Bedford here. If you look at the last election, not this one just passed, the previous 2015 one, Conservatives were 45, Labour was about 42. Lib Dem was way down there with some 15 or 10%. So when you add Lib Dem to Labour, you get 50 something percent. It goes way beyond Conservatives. And so it worked out. And that is exactly what they should be looking for in any future election. Because you look at the policies of these Labour, Greens, SNP, Lib Dem, they all have similar progressive policies. Slight differences. When you look at the, what do you call it? Conservatives, completely different. So all of them will not want to have anything to do with Tory government. So why don't you come together, form a proper progressive alliance, and then defeat the Tories if you really want to take power? That is the point, because the Lib Dems almost save votes. Almost save votes for Tory. That is the Ghana for we know that a lot. Ghanaians are so good at that. Ghanaian will never give his vote to someone who will not win. Look at Papa Kwesindio, fantastic gentleman, but yet he will go to election and he will come back with 0 points.
In what sense?
Oh, in terms of his policies, what he wants to do. I mean, the man.
So you see, we are too quick to always label him as fantastic, that the best that never became the president. We
no,
haven't
I'm
actually,
not saying that the best.
I'm not saying you said that. We tend to say that a lot. you know, people we tend to say.
No, you are asking me, and I'm telling you.
If there was a TED, we you
Look,
know, apart from
I have read his profile. I've heard about him a lot. I've read a lot about his.
It's a great businessman.
Great, that's what makes him fantastic.
So
he has a good business acumen. He's been in government before.
Yeah.
I saw what he did in government.
So is Donald Trump, and we all know what's happening in America now.
What?
Mr. Trump, he's a good businessman. He's a billionaire.
And what is happening in America? Tell me, what is happening in America? What is happening in America?
Oh, you're like.
No, what is happening in America, young man? It's some people who are just trying to chase something that does not exist. Okay? People are going around trying to chase something that does not exist. Period. What is happening in America? Nothing.
Oh,
they are just making empty noises.
Wait and see. We have to wait and see.
All right.
Yeah, we have to wait and see.
Nothing is happening in America.
If anything is gonna come out from that.
Look, they have the right to follow the procedure.
Yeah.
So I love following due process. If you feel when you appoint a special counsel, it will help. Go ahead and do that. The president, when they ask him, "Are you ready to testify?" he says 100%. That's what he said. So if you think he has anything to hide, remember he's still the president. He has the power to fire all those people anyway. That is the beauty of their system. he has the power to fire them. So if he violates the law and you think he's violated the law, take him to court and deal with him. Yeah. His travel ban is still being rejected.
Is he still in the comfortable lead with his TT?
His what?
Is he still in the
My brother, the guy is doing a fantastic job for the American people.
I
Today,
get it.
as we speak,
Yeah.
100 people or 70 people were deported from America to Ghana. Yes, they were deported. He means business.
Yeah, they were deported and then they were putting them in camps.
That is only Ghana.
What are you talking about?
That is only Ghana.
No, they were put in their camps.
Let me tell you
something.
something.
That has no respect for
Let me tell you
human
something.
rights.
Let me
What are
tell
you
you
talking
something.
about?
Let me tell you something.
You were preaching earlier about those so-called guys who killed the MP, their human rights not being respected, and then you go and then not too long afterwards you want to support a guy who has no respect for other rights of other people, the rights of other people. Come on. I understand that he wants to make America great again.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. Yes, I don't hold excuses for violations of the law. So if his handcuffed people, which I saw on the pictures, some of them are handcuffed, they have the right to seek redress. We have a government in Ghana. We have a foreign department. We have a president, a sovereign nation. They can intervene and challenge that decision. That look, if you feel you've arrested our people and they are in your country illegally, you can bring them back home. After all, let me tell you something. After all, they did not get up and then fly the plane straight away and brought them home without the permission of the Ghanaian government. If the Ghana government did not allow them to fly through the airspace of Ghana and said, we will not allow this plane to land, they couldn't have landed. So the Ghana government has a duty to protect its citizens. If another country is treating your citizens bad, you have the right to do that. But hold on. Is that a criminal offense? Thank you. Then if it's a criminal offense, then they haven't done anything wrong by handcuffing them. Huh? So you haven't done anything wrong by handcuffing a criminal. Is that correct? Thank you. So what do you want the Ghana government? Why do you say human rights here? That is what the laws in America say. Do you get it? I just want us to follow procedures.
Americans infringing your human rights.
Okay.
You're an alien.
You're an alien.
Being an alien in their state is a crime. So they can treat you anyhow.
Thank you. No, not that they can treat you. You have to be treated with, even if you're a crime, you have to be charged and then.
Human rights doesn't fall in here. It doesn't come in at all.
Oh, no. When we talk of human rights, it's like you arrest a thief take him to court. You're going to try him and say, oh, because you are a thief or because you've been sentenced to 2 years in prison, I'm going to beat you. Your human rights is being violated. Do you get what I mean? If they take you to prison, they're supposed to give you somewhere to live properly. They are not supposed to treat you inhumanely. So that's why we are talking about human rights.
Yeah.
Now, if they are arresting you and they are bringing you back home, and their law says that that is what the laws require.
Even in this country, if you are arrested based on being an immigrant, they chain you. They handcuff you. What's one on the plane? You know, and back into your country. They will handcuff.
You sure about that?
I'm sure about that. I know. I've seen it before. They do it.
Is it because
people
of
have even died? People have even died from even in the Seco prison vans in this country. The security officers, it happened, I think, from Yazoo, right? The person died, and then the case went to court, and then the security officers were set free. Because as far as they're concerned, when they are reporting you, they think their life is in danger. So they handcuff you. Sometimes they even chain you again in the vans, because they think their life is in danger and they protect themselves. Whether that is true or not. And then by doing so, some of the immigrants die as a result of that. This is exactly what happened to these people at Yazoo. And I've seen it before. I was shocked when I saw that, because I was at that time working on the plane, and I saw this guy. I mean, he was being deported to Ivory Coast. And when I went on the plane, I saw this guy being handcuffed, and there was some big guys, beside him. He was in the front, in the middle. So I looked at that, and then the guy showed me his ID, realizing that he's a police officer. Then, of course, I couldn't do anything. So my brother, that's what they do.
Well,
they chain you, they handcuff you.
If they are taking home an aggressive person and they want to take precautionary measures, then I mean that part I can't fault it. But then to just chain or handcuff somebody by the mere fact that they have overstayed.
Oh yeah, they do that.
And then you want to call
the only thing, as Michael was saying, the only thing that the Ghana government could step in here is if they have evidence to prove that these people being sent to their country are not Ghanaian citizens. That is where they can ask them to send them back to where they got them from, because they cannot take them if they see that they are not citizens of Ghana.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they cannot take,
So before they deport you, they liaise with the embassy in USA. They get their traveling documents, everything.
They don't have it.
No,
and they can't deport you.
What I'm saying is, it happened in Nigeria. There were about 10 people sent to Nigeria. And as far as Nigerians were concerned, they didn't have any documents. But you see, truly speaking, they were Nigerians. But the fact that they didn't have any documents to prove that they were Nigerians, Nigerian government asked them to send them back to the United Kingdom, because as far as they're concerned, they're not Nigerians.
Yeah, so that is why the law, they changed the system. Now, before they will deport you, but if they have your passport, they won't give it to you. Say they refuse your papers and you need to leave, you don't leave, and they come for you. When they are coming, they have your details already with the removal team. So if it's what do you call it, your passport is out, they will approach your embassy and
what do you mean if it's out?
I mean, if it's expired.
Okay. But now if they don't, what about if they don't find any documents on you?
If they don't find any documents on you, they will never ever deport you. Huh?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, they cannot. It's not that they cannot. They won't. They will still hold you in detention.
They used to do that.
That's why they've stopped now.
That's right.
That's so. What happened? What used to happen previously was that when you go there to renew your stuff, and they say they refuse it, they will post it back to you. Now, when they refuse it, they will keep it. They won't send it to you, but they will ask you to leave. pending removal directions. So after a while, if they check and you are still in the system, they pass it on to removers who get in touch with you and say, oh, look, we asked you to leave on this time, around this time. You're not gone. Do you have any reason why you are still here? Now, if you can justify why you are still here, then they will tell you, take steps to normalize your stay. If you cannot justify that, then they will ask you to come and see them. And if you go and see them, by the time you go, they have your staff there. So they will just work with you gently, gradually, and then if you need to be supported to leave, you leave. If not, then they will find a day, and then one day you'll be going there, you will never come back home again. By then, they would have had all your documents ready. That's what they do. So because of that Nigerian experience and other experiences they had from other countries, they decided that, look, now we need to make sure that anyone who makes an application to the Home Office must go with an identification document, that is your passport, identifying where you are coming from. Even though they do not put your visa anymore in your passport, they still need a valid passport from you. Do you get it? They give you a card, biometric card, but they'll still get it. It is because of that, so that just in case it happens that you need to be sent back home, they have your details. They are not going to go through problems. So they are learning from their mistake. But yes, Mr. Trump is fine. For your information, he is doing very well. I'm telling you, how lovely would have been if Jeremy Corbyn had also won, and with Trump, because the two of them don't see eye to eye. When is she kind of brought for eye to eye?
He said he wouldn't visit the UK because of what? Because of what? Because he doesn't like visiting a place that there's going to be demonstration.
He doesn't care. Does he really care? He has no time for us. Okay, my brother. I think there was this presidential fleet saga, but it's a story that doesn't make any sense to Mike Jones, So,
meaning the NDC importing this vehicle.
Yeah, it doesn't add up.
How viable?
There's too much drama in that country.
They imported it for this government.
They have, yeah.
How?
My brother, there is too much drama going on. There's too much drama.
They ordered the car, but what I don't understand.
When did they order
the order was done on the 9th of. They started the proceedings on the 9th of December. So basically,
when was the election? The election was what?
The election was done on the 7th. And don't forget,
December.
Election was done on the 7th of December, and don't forget the results was finally Leonardo was declared on the evening of the 9th. Okay. That's on the 9th. A letter was sent, an authorization letter, ordering the vehicles was done on the 9th of December, and then by the 11th of December they formed the transition team. But then I think Dr. Park was claiming that the transition team were in the know of those vehicles being ordered, but it wouldn't make any sense because election was done on the 7th. You placed the order, or you wrote the letter authorizing this purchase of these vehicles on the 9th, which makes no sense because the new government was not in power for them to have agreed to you buying the vehicle for them. The first question even is, if I'm coming to power and I need a vehicle, why would I let the one leaving to buy the vehicle for me? So that aspect of it didn't really make sense. But then on the 30th of December, that is when they asked for the specifics of the vehicle that they wanted. So this was done on the 30th of December. And then the order or the contract was actually signed on the 3rd of January. So letter of authorization was done on the 9th of December. 30th of December, the space has been given out. 3rd of January, contract signed. And then
contract signed by who? By
the previous government.
3rd of January.
But they were not in government, were they?
They were still in government.
They were still in government, yeah. They were still in government because the new administration took over on the 7th of January.
So all this was what was the intention there? Was it the case that they were getting these cars in anticipation that they were going to win?
I have no idea.
But they have been aware that they have lost the election. So how could they be acting on behalf of the government?
This is the frustration that we some of us tend to get with why there seems to be no agency on the part of the new government in trying to come out with what really is going on, because all that they have done is the only thing that the government have said about this particular vehicle saga is denying the fact that the transition team were in the know, or they consented with the old administration ordering those vehicles for them. That is all that they have come to say. But what I don't understand is, if you are not in the know, if we don't honor that contracts, there's bound to be a judgment there. If you don't do it, so somebody needs to pay for this. Why is there no action?
A judgment from where?
A contract. You need to.
What contract?
They signed a contract on the 7th of January.
With who?
With the company that ordered the vehicle.
Is it international company?
Yeah.
Did it go through Parliament?
It didn't.
So what's the problem? Martin Amidu has set that precedent. So what's the problem?
It didn't.
Where's the car?
The cars are sitting somewhere.
Where?
I don't
Ghana?
know whether, no, it's not here yet.
Have they paid monies to them?
No.
They haven't paid any money.
They haven't paid the money.
Oh, so one, it is not a local contractor. This is someone in Dubai or wherever. I don't know where he is. And government is dealing with them to buy cars when they should have taken that matter to Parliament as part of one of a presidential, what do you call it?
Transition.
No, or the president's office expenditure to see, because it's an international arrangement. They don't do that. Do you get the point? So there is no judgment debt. Per the Supreme Court ruling that Martin Amidu went in the Show-Mich case, because any transaction at all that you have with someone who is a foreigner, Ghana government it must go through Parliament. I think it's Article 185. So that I don't see any judgment debt there. And the president came out and said that no new cars are being imported. So I don't have any problem. Maybe that is why they are not bothered. So let them deal with it. If the government has not paid any monies to them, then so be it. If the previous government parted any money to them, whoever signed that
I'm not
should
sure.
be done
I'm not
with
sure
financial loss to the state.
if the company is a foreign company. So you see, that changes the dynamics.
If it's not a foreign company, and it's a local company, they should go and get that local company and then collect the money back quickly.
No. What I'm saying is
they can do that easily. This is not this. I can even defend this matter in court. I am telling you, with my street law, they can go back to him and tell him that, look, yes, at the time the guy ordered, but he did it fraudulently. So all they need to do is to arrest that guy who signed that contract, the chief of staff, and let him testify.
Even if he's a
local, yes, he did it wrongly, because look, what is happening is that they thought they were going to win the election. I have two scenarios, two theories for this. They thought they were going to win the election, so let us order that. So they prepared all the orders and everything ready in anticipation that immediately we win, this will be part of the celebration, inauguration cars that they were going to be using, new cars coming in, and they did that. The election comes and then the results fleeting in. All these things goes on because it changes the dynamics. So they are now, the concentration is now to win the election. So everything is put on hold. Then they come back and realize that, oh, we were ordering some cars. So what do we do with these cars? We've told this guy to go ahead and get it and all that. And then they start thinking, oh, but we've signed the agreement and all that. Because when did they sign the agreement?
On the 30th of December.
30th of December. So they went ahead and signed the agreement on the 30th of December because someone is going to get some money in there when they pay.
Also, on the 3rd of January.
3rd of January.
To sign,
yeah. So don't worry. Don't worry. The fact is, the matter is that
it's not about worrying. It's about us, the government, holding somebody responsible. You see,
I agree with you on that one. I agree with you on that one. To be honest with you,
the other part that we didn't get a chance to talk about is the bond. For instance, the bond issue where the opposition took it all the way to America to have it investigated.
Has it been investigated?
Well, yeah, they've taken it to security, the section in America, for them to investigate They are part of because they claim there's some inside trading.
Yeah.
You know, so this is where it's got to. They are there making all this noise, taking this case all the way to America and all this. And then you have another one sitting right there where you have evidence to nail them, and then you sit down and do nothing.
So it means that they know something about it.
Huh?
They know something about it.
What do you mean?
From what you are saying, you are trying to nail me. Okay? You are trying to nail me. And you making us about my fraudulent deals, so-called perception, fraudulent deal, and I'm saying there is nothing wrong with it. You say, no, I'm going all along to prove that you are wrong, you've done that. And then all of a sudden I realize that, oh, even you trying to do, I've also realized that you've done something wrong. Here is what you've done. So I can even deal with you because I'm in power now. But instead of dealing with you, I don't deal with you. I just ignore me. With the hope that you also drop what you're doing.
Oh, no.
Yes.
I know where you're going.
That is true. Or,
no.
Wait a minute. Or you can't deal with me because I can't deal with you because the information that I have is not enough proof to deal with you. It's like, I know something about that car. Do you get what I mean?
Exactly.
It doesn't make sense to me
that
someone is leaving office. He knows he's lost election. The theory that I was trying to put across, two theories. One, he knows he's lost election, but he goes ahead and order a car. You rightly say, why would I allow someone who is leaving to order a car for me?
If I did get it right, I think you did say something about they knew they were going to win the election. That's why they ordered a car.
No, but
so
now
at that point,
that theory will not work.
Okay, so now
the letter of authorization was signed on the 9th of December.
No, but hold on. You see, let me tell you something. This date, 9th of December, don't tell me that they just got up, took the letter and signed it without speaking to the person.
So you mean they had planned all that?
That is the point. They had already arranged with this guy maybe a month before.
It doesn't matter.
That we want,
but Mike, what the point I'm making is this: even if I plan to get something and then it dawns on me that I've lost the election, so whatever intention, the plan I was going to make, it will come back to bite me, because the new government coming in can use that against me if they want.
Why do you think they will do that? Why do you think they will be?
This is why a lot of things don't make sense. I really, because you see, in Ghana, something comes up, and another one comes in, and then we drop that one. We don't follow it to its conclusion, and then people tend to forget. We forget about it, and we just leave it. This is where I believe that as journalists, we need to follow everything that comes out to its conclusion.
And this is where I was happy. This is why I supported the president with his numerous ministers, so that these matters, the ministers can be on top of it. You have so many of them, 100 and about every sector has got deputy. So when this comes up, you are dealing with it. Masa, performance measures, say office work. Ghana, we don't monitor people doing office work. So we don't know how much performance that the person must put in to say this is a day's work, 8 hours or 9 hours work. This is the problem. So the guy is working around, so a minister or a deputy minister, or continue or people let them meeting. You know how long it takes for them to have their meetings. A meeting that is supposed to start at 10 a.m. it will start at 12 o'clock. So in between that time, what wasting of man hours. So nothing happens. But really, if they are prioritizing their work and doing things right, some person who's under whose purview, whose authority this thing for, should deal with this simple, quick. Quick. Now, but they leave it lingering because why busy? The president is traveling. He's in London now, isn't he? He's in Europe. He's coming to London on Friday. I wish I could go down, ask him some of these questions.
Oh, he's coming to London on Friday.
Yeah, he's having a town hall meeting.
Friday.
If you want to go
between the hours of
6 and
9:30.
Yeah,
6 and 9:30.
Friday.
Yeah, Westminster Hall.
Friday of. Is it just Friday?
This Friday, 16th.
Friday is when I've got a very busy schedule for my daughters, and No, Mike, let me make the last point I was going to make is this. You see, this I know we didn't get a chance to talk about the bond issue, and the thing is, on the face of this bond, it looks like a great deal, which the government says that is giving them the space to work within, and it looks like that 19.75% that they got for the 15-year bond looks great. But then the opposition are finding fault with it. They are claiming conflict of interest, and then they keep changing their story. They keep shifting the goalposts and all that. But you see, in all of this, whether or not we like it, whether we like it or not, what it tends to do is the more you drag this, and then they are sort of scandalizing the deal. The more you drag it, and the more you scandalize the deal. Franklin Templeton, I don't know. I think many people knew them, but then when you mentioned them, a lot of Ghanaians would say, "Oh, they are the guys that were involved in the bond." Rightfully or wrongly, some people might have this sort of scandals to them, which is wrong, if you ask me. But then it hasn't stopped the opposition from trying to tarnish their image, and then sort of
whose image?
Franklin Templeton.
Why are they
institution's image? Because the more you drag it, the more you make it sound like they are involved in some sort of scandal. Our own investors coming in here, investors' confidence, and everything is not really helping our case. But then they still haven't left the case. They are pursuing it.
Yeah, I'm happy they should do that,
and I'm glad they're doing it. But what I don't understand is these same people have also got something which is obviously clear to you.
Which one?
This vehicle that we just talked about. It's obvious. The date, the chronological. No, Mike, let me finish.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
So because of that, they should keep quiet about the bond?
No. I'm not talking about them keeping quiet.
What
I'm talking about them also, the way the minority are vociferous about this thing and they are pursuing it. They should do the same and pursue their own. They should pursue.
My brother, let me tell you something.
Should pursue
something.
The other.
Let me tell you something. You see, MPP wanted to come to power to govern. And to them, they've come to power and they are governing. NDC wanted to come to power, stay in power. They couldn't. They are in opposition. So their job is to do what opposition parties do. Is to make noise, is to scrutinize, is to bring out every tiny thing to make you unpopular. I am happy they are doing that. They are putting a check on these people. They should go on, and because there are discrepancies when you follow that bond clearly. Okay, when you follow the whole process, the procedures, there are discrepancies somewhere. Something is not right. It is not like everything is.
Which falls in the interest of the government.
Yes.
So which part?
Okay.
Which part?
Something is not right somewhere.
You see,
okay.
You've just made it.
It is just that.
So
let me tell you.
What part is? Do you think?
Well, then one can also ask a question that why that particular company?
What do you mean by that particular?
Why I'm talking about this Templeton.
Yeah.
Why them? One can ask a question. Why them?
Why them? As in what? Why
as
did they
buy? Why? Yes, exactly.
Yeah, they are not new. They've been buying bonds.
No, it means somebody is affiliated to them.
How? Yeah. How?
Yeah.
I mean,
isn't the finance minister? Isn't he embroidered in this kind of
yeah, but that's what they are claiming. Embroidered in what sense?
Well, if
no, you see, a member on Franklin Templeton's Franklin Templeton is a company. So a member, that the guy who is the representative of Franklin Templeton is also a board member of one of the companies that the finance minister used to
be part of.
Okay. I quite remember during his vetting, he said he's taking steps. I think it was not Data Bank, Enterprise Insurance. He's taking steps to decouple his interest from that company. He's in the process of doing that. I don't know if that has been done or not.
He is no longer.
So
but the wife is a member of the board. Yeah.
thank you. So
So
if that is the case, then there is a seeming appearance of conflict of interest.
absolutely.
If they want to pursue it, they are legitimate to do that.
Yeah,
That is exactly what I mean.
That is fine.
It is not a matter of sweeping anything under the
But I
carpet.
just saying it's a conflict of interest. It's not.
So
It doesn't
it's
just
up to them to
make
prove it.
a-
Look, when President Mahama went and bought a car and everything, a gift
Mike,
came in,
I get
we
you.
said conflict
They
of
have-
interest. So if there's seeming appearance of conflict of interest here, and the opposition is doing that, I am happy they are doing that.
No,
It is up to the government to come out and prove.
Mike, my interest is the statement that you made earlier about the discrepancies. I want to understand where the discrepancies that you talked about are.
Let's leave that to what do you call it? That is, you see, that discrepancy is a pure finance business. I need to come with my financial cap on.
Okay.
And then explain that to you. I won't have enough time to do justice to that. I must be honest with you.
So in
Okay.
that case,
Yes.
we will scrap that
Uh-huh.
part of your submission
Yeah.
until you come back next week with better and better.
Okay, okay, I agree with you. I mean, what as they say that for us to be able to justify
Exactly.
is that let us scrap that.
Yeah, it's a pure financial agreement. You're dealing with financial instruments
That
here,
is
so
fine.
you need to. Our listeners are not all of them understand this thing. We need to explain this to layman's term and make things right. So I don't want to be putting out there.
Yeah. So until such a time that you
So
come with the financial,
I'll come with the
account and all
facts.
that.
Yeah, I'll come with my financial cap on, and I'll explain
That,
what went
that part
on
is scrapped
exactly.
from the record.
Because I listened to both Kwaku Bako trying so much hard to defend the whole deal, and I listened to the NDC representative on Newsfire, Adongo, also trying to so much hard to explain his point. Okay, now whether there is shifting of goalposts or there is shifting of what, it's like I come to you and I tell you that, oh, I saw you beating or touching my girlfriend. And then the next day you say, oh, I didn't touch her. Oh, last I saw you hugging her. But you said I touched her. Now you are saying you saw me hugging her. But at the end of the day,
Did you admit also hugging her?
the point he hasn't admitted, but because he says I've changed my mind, they say that now it's no more touching, it's hugging, then I don't have a case. I'm shifting the goalpost. That is not the point. There is something in there somewhere that does not follow. You see, it's a procedural issue. Let me put it across that I don't think the finance minister did anything wrong. The MPP was just in a hurry. They had an opportunity. They needed to do this quickly to raise the funds.
That
did that.
That is a point
That
I
is-
would totally agree with.
That
you
is what
if
they
you
did
say that. If
instead
you
of
make a
going
point
through the
like that,
due process and all that. But then the other issue is to do with how this extra 600 million comes to the economy and all that. The fact that
so
our
that's
reserves
the
are
one.
going.
That's the one.
That
you
is
will
what
explain.
I want to come back and then we go through, we do justice to
So,
because
Mr. D,
I'm not entirely
next week,
convinced with that.
we
Yeah.
hold you. We hold you.
Anyway, listeners, we thank you so much. I think it's 11:35 and CrossFire is coming to an end. Hopefully next week we'll see you again, and I believe next week our Facebook will be online, and we'll be able to broadcast on Facebook so that our friends can follow us as well. Thank you so much for being a part of the program, and Richard, thank you. We didn't hear from Richard and Steven.
Yeah, he
Did
was
you send him a message?
I did. He was engaged in something.
All
He
right,
couldn't
no
make it
problem.
today.
And good evening to Steven, good evening to Richard, and good evening to
Freddie.
Freddie. Long time no hear
Freddie.
from Freddie.
Freddie called me that he was going to come on, but
Yeah.
Oh, he called you today?
no, he sent it to me a message during the week.
Okay.
There you go.
So we'll come back your way again with another edition of Crossfire. And it's good night.
I've got this advert playing for you guys here.
Oh, okay.
Yo, nasalaw magtubanong.
Hey.
Tapukunami. Nimanakatanya komo. Abala. Ikana radio. To Bedford. Nanyasa CrossFire. Cho o club gasheke vasara gawi de dia. Puda share puda. CrossFire dona nya fo work here. Allah wana wa wo fu avanya to toji to alay kanya yi. La asa to the dojo na Africa. La Ghana. Michael do Richard Agyepong. Wawe nyanya kono no lawo. Show Ghana media landscape. Wana ni kana wo enye afun afun Africanna radio online. Ya ati wahi. Dobe phone na Android Play Store. Alo TuneIn Radio. Nyasalawa ati wayo ni. Alo wado upenya woda. The WhatsApp le ekasaya oji. 004473865402. Alo na 004412239268. Africanna Radio, Africanna Radio, Africanna Radio.
Akpena me. Akpena me. Akpena me. Akpena me. Akpena wo. Akpena me. Akpena me.